Everyone, welcome back to a new post today, and let's continue our journey with regard to the DSPSC Group 1 mains, and let's look at the topic called as old age. So you have this topic in paper 3 along with other social issues such as women development, child, etc. Let's look at senior citizens or what exactly are the policies for the government, the programs that you need to remember, what are the steps taken by the government, by the various ministries for the development and betterment of the senior citizens who have contributed to the growth of the country. So according to 2000, so the best way to start an answer, if you don't remember anything, always the best way is with regard to such issues like demographics or economic issues, it's always better to start with certain data and then go on to remember the recent issues that have happened. So we know that we have a very young population in India according to the demographics, but also we should not forget that the population is also aging. So the aging population or the senior citizen population is increasing slowly in India, and therefore we need to have sufficient policies, healthcare measures, institutions and support system to protect and also support the senior citizens in the country. There is also there is a policy brought out by the government which is called as the policy for the silver economy, that is promoting institutions, promoting companies for the betterment and for the care and support of the senior citizens. The silver economy has been a lot in news recently when there was a news that India has now become the most populous country in the world. Let's have a quick review of what are the things. It will be like a revision for you so that you can move on further in your syllabus preparation, and you can complete your syllabus preparation as soon as possible, which will help you to have many more revisions as well. So let's go to the census and just look at what does the data say. So we do not have the recent census of 2021, that's because of the COVID, it's not been released yet, but yes, we do have the other data like the National Family Health Survey, etc., which you can also interpret in your answers as well. Data will always help you enrich your answers in the mains examination. It will only show the examiner how keen you are and your interest in the topic. So according to population census 2011, we have about 104 million elderly people, that is age 60 and above in India. Now 53 million of this are females and 51 millions are males. A report by the United Nations Population Fund and Help Age India suggests that the number of elderly persons in India is to grow to 173 million by 2026. So according to a report of the Technical Group of Population Projections for India and States from 2011 and 2036, they are about 138 million elderly people in India. In 2021, that is a very recent, 67 million is male and 71 million is female, and it is further expected to increase by 56 million elderly in 2031. Now both the share and the size of the elderly population have been increasing over time, from just about 5.6% of the population in 1961. This has increased to 8.6 in 2011, similar to the scheduled tribe population in India. Now the proportion has increased 10.1% in 2021 and is further likely to increase 13.1% in 2031. For males, it was marginally lower, like 8.2%, while for females, it was 9%. Now it is also interesting to note that the population census to 1991, the number of elderly females exceeded the number of elderly males. However, in the last 2 decades, the trend has been reversed and elderly males outnumbered the elderly females. Further, it is projected that the number of elderly females will also exceed the number of males in 2031. As regards to the rural and urban areas, the 2011 census says that 71% of the elderly population stays in the rural areas, while just 29% lives in urban areas. Now, as per the report of Technical Group on Population Projection for India and the states in 2011-2036, statewide data shows that 21 major states divulge that Kerala has a maximum proportion of elderly people in the country, almost 16.5%, followed by Tamil Nadu 13.6%, Himachal Pradesh 13.1%, Punjab 12.6%, Andhra Pradesh 12.4% in 2021. And this is said by the report of the Technical Group on Population Projections for India and the states 2011 and 2036. So very recent data. On the contrary, the proportion of the least states is Bihar 7.7%, followed by Uttar Pradesh 8.1% and Assam 8.2%. Now let's look at some of the steps that are taken with regard to the senior citizens. So we also have a national policy for senior citizens in this, which was brought out in 1999, and it shows the importance. So The population as per the census 2011, I told you, is 10.38 crore, almost 8.6%. There is a national policy on older persons in 1999, which is presently in force and envisages the states to support financial and food security, healthcare, shelter, protection and other needs of the old people to improve the quality of lives. There is an umbrella scheme called as Atal Vayu Abhyudaya Yojana. The Department of Social Justice and Empowerment is implementing this welfare scheme for improving the living standards of the senior citizens in the country. And just let's have a quick review of what are the steps taken by the government of India with regard to the senior citizens. So you have the Department of Social Justice and Empowerment, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment Department. Under that Department of Social Justice and Empowerment implements the various schemes for the care of senior citizens sector, and under that you have umbrella scheme called as Atal Vayu Abhyudaya Yojana. So this Yojana brings together the articulation of the current schemes. It is integration of various schemes, future plans, strategies, targets, maps it with the programs and accountabilities. Financial and clear outcomes are some of the features of the scheme. The plan takes care top 4 needs of the senior citizen. Number 1, financial security. Number 2, food. Number 3, healthcare. And number 4 is human interaction or life of dignity. Right to dignity is a fundamental right under Article Right to Life. So this has also been said by the Supreme Court. It also includes the facets of safety and protection and well-being of the elderly, beginning from awareness generation and sensitization of the society towards the welfare of the senior citizens. Now this is umbrella scheme was effective very recently from April 2021, and the scheme as various other schemes under it as follows. So there is a scheme for integrated program for senior citizens to improve the quality of life of the senior citizens, especially the indigent senior citizen, by providing basic amenities like shelter, food, medical care, entertainment, etc. There is a state action plan for senior citizen. The Government of India is perceiving a major and critical role of the state governments in partnering and implementing the action plan for the welfare of the senior citizens. Then there is a Rashtriya Vayoshree Yojana, a scheme for providing physical aids and assisted devices for making the lives of senior citizens very, very comfortable. Livelihood and skilling initiatives for senior citizens. Senior able citizens for re-employment and dignity. It is called as SACRED, the acronym. Action plan aimed at social reconstruction groups, self-help groups, etc. Promoting a silver economy, channelizing the CSR or the corporate social responsibility funds for the elderly care. And there is a scheme for awareness generation and capacity building for the welfare of the senior citizens, which takes care of training, awareness, sensitization, setting up of national helpline for senior citizens. Under the scheme of the integrated program for senior citizens, up to 100% project cost are given for running and maintenance of the following projects, like for example senior citizens home for destitutes, like to provide food, care and shelter, senior citizen home for 50 elderly women especially, including the Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, continuous care home and homes for the senior citizens afflicted by the Alzheimer's diseases, dementia diseases, then mobile care units for medical care for the senior citizens living in the rural and the isolated and the backward areas, physiotherapy clinics, which are very, very important at this age for senior citizens, then regional resource training centers for monitoring and providing technical support, advocacy, networking, training, capacity building and effective delivery of services for the senior citizens. So excuse me, under the scheme, assistance is sanctioned to the following agencies with regard to terms and conditions laid down by the ministry. Priority is given to the state governments and the union territories for supporting the projects under the scheme for the senior citizens. Apart from that, you have a livelihood and skilling initiative for the senior citizens. This scheme has 2 components. So the senior able citizens for re-employment in dignity, it is the acronym called as SACRED. Many senior citizens have experienced time, energy which can be used for various businesses, and this program aims to tap that. There is an action group aimed at social reconstruction, elderly self-help groups. The senior citizens are encouraged to form self-help groups which will provide them with a platform to share timely, constructive expertise with each other to attain financial assistance under the scheme of self-help groups. This will function as action groups aimed at social reconstruction, and assistance under this group will be independent of assistance under any other scheme of the ministry, and they can avail any assistance under one or more schemes. So if you look, livelihood and skilling initiative for the senior citizens has two things, as I told you, that is senior able citizens for re-employment in dignity sacred, and action groups aimed at social reconstruction, that are forming of self-help groups of the senior citizen. Then there is another initiative called as promoting silver economy. Now it is a new scheme that is launched with the objective to encourage entrepreneurs to think about the problems of the elderly and come out with very innovative solution. The government aims to achieve objective by providing rupees 1 crore as financial assistance through equity participation and through opening invitation on a portal, namely Senior Care Aging Growth Engine, or SAGE. Then the other step is the channelizing for CSR funds for elderly care. This is a new scheme with the objective to channelize the CSR funds in an appropriate manner for elderly care projects, and under the Companies Act, setting up of old age homes can be taken up by the companies or the corporate sector. Daycare centers, such facilities for senior citizens, is approved under the CSR funding. That is a very good step. Then there is another step called a scheme for awareness generation, capacity building for the welfare of the senior citizens. Components like National Helpline for the senior citizens, research awareness, sensitization for the welfare of senior citizens, etc. is taken up. There is the Rashtriya Vayashri Yojana, which is a scheme for providing physical aids and assisted living devices for the senior citizens. The scheme has been formulated by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment with the objective to provide aids and assisted living devices like walking sticks, elbow crutches, walking crutches, tripods, quad pods, hearing devices, wheelchairs, artificial dentures, spectacles, free of cost to the senior citizens belonging to the BPL category. Apart from that, there are various schemes run by the various ministries and the departments in care of senior citizens. That is, under the Ministry of Rural Development, you have the National Social Assistance Program to help elderly widows, disabled persons belonging to the below poverty line and fulfilling eligibility criteria prescribed, that is providing financial assistance ranging from rupees 200 to 500 per month, and in case of death of the breadwinner, a lump sum rupee of 20,000 is given. There is another scheme under the Ministry of Rural Development. Now, the scheme under the National Social Assistance Program, they are the Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. A monthly pension of 200 is given to elderly from 60 to 70 years of age belonging to the BPL category. A pension the pension increases to 500 per month upon attaining 80 years. And there is the Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme. A monthly pension scheme of 300 is given to the BPL population age 18 to 70 years with several severe and multiple disabilities. And under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, you have the National Program for Healthcare of Elderly that was launched during 2010 and 11, and it is a state-oriented program with the basic thrust to provide comprehensive dedicated healthcare facilities to the elderly of 60 years and above. Primary, secondary, geriatric care services are being provided. Tertiary level healthcare services under the Rashtriya Varisht Jan Swasthya Yojana is being provided from 16 to 17. These are some of the steps taken under the various departments, that is the Ministry of Rural Development. There are training modules for medical officers, nurses, community-based health workers to give comprehensive geriatric care to the developed especially. Apart from that, the Ministry of Finance is implementing the Atal Pension Yojana. So you can see the steps taken by not only the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment but also the various other ministries under the domain. So it's a synergy coming from various ministries and departments to help the senior citizens to live better lives with dignity. Atal Pension Yojana, the scheme of the Government of India, was launched in 2015 with the objective of creating a universal social security system for all the Indians, especially the poor, the underprivileged and the workers in the unorganized sector especially. So this is most important because the unorganized sector does not get a pension. So the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has issued the Model Building Bylaws of 2016 prescribing standards for creation of elderly free barrier environment with reference to buildings, toilets. Urban local bodies are implementing the policy by adopting a model building bylaws, and under the urban bus specification issued in 2013, the emphasis on buses financed by the urban development is on procuring low flow buses so that it can become very easy for the senior citizens to get onto the ramp, proper space for wheelchair especially in airports and railways, and also There's a provision of reservation of seats in the metro coaches, buses, railway station for senior citizens. For the housing for all mission or Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana guidelines have been given to the states and UTs to meet the demand of housing, especially with regard to senior citizens, where the allotment is given to the senior most woman in the name of the senior most woman of the family. And finally, there is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Urban Livelihood Mission, with aims to reduce poverty and vulnerability of the urban poor households in sustainable cities. And the mission aims at providing sheltered equipment with the essential services to urban homeless, especially who are the old destitutes, in a phased manner for under the component of shelters for urban homeless, irrespective of the age. And this is all of the steps that are taken by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Rural Development, also Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and how infrastructure is being made very, very senior citizen friendly. Senior citizens are just not looked as senior citizens, but there are self-help groups that are being formed. Also, there is capacity building and also training and also gaining of more expertise from this. There is a silver economy that is being promoted and developed. Many startups are coming up with solutions for having comfortable lives for the senior citizens. Companies are now encouraged to come up with these CSR funds for the senior citizens, and this is a whole gamut of the recent steps that are in news, especially with regard to your senior citizens or the old age, with regard to demographics in India. And I hope this content was really helpful to you all. If you did, please do like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.